Alright, today on the news we will be talking about the court case of Fletcher versus Peck. Back to you, Chris.
Oh, thanks, Barb. Today we'll be taking a look at Fletcher and Peck's case. We're going to take a look at both sides of the story and compare them to see who is correct and who is wrong.
Hi, I am Peck, and I'm a little angry about the whole situation because, it's not a fraud. It's just not all there correctly. And I think Fletcher should have taken my land because I worked very hard for that, and he needs to take it. This is Barb speaking again. We just heard Peck's side of the story. Now let's go hear Fletcher's side of the story and what he thinks is correct and incorrect.
Hi, this is Fletcher, and I have been misinformed about the land. Peck sold me 35 million acres of land, but he didn't tell me it was illegal.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did.
Fletcher is lying to you. Do not believe his side of the story.
This is my moment. Anyways, I believe I should be able to remove the contract and sell back the land to Peck because I will not get in trouble for fraud.
This is Barb speaking again. We just heard from both Fletcher and Peck about their sides of the story and what they think is incorrect and correct. Now, let's take an actual look back at what had happened between the two.
Excuse me.
Yes?
You sold me unacquired illegal land and I want to back the contract.
No. You have to take this contract.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
No.
Why do you think you can just back out of it?
Because it's illegal. You did an illegal thing.
Well, it's not illegal in my case.
It is too.
No, it's not.
It's under your name, first of all.
Well, you're the one that bought it, so that seems like your problem now. The land companies then split up this land and they sold it to even more people for a bigger profit. So, just even more money now. Money, money. Georgia had taken this land from the Indians in 1795.
Purchased the land in 1803. It was over 35 million acres in the Yazoo.
Peck sold Fletcher all of this land. Everything. Even more that is not here. But Fletcher wanted to back out of the deal because it was illegal and he did not want to get in trouble with, the Supreme Court.
In the Fletcher versus Peck case, John Peck was violating the Yazoo land fraud. The Yazoo land fraud was in 1795 when Georgia legislators were bribed to sell most of their land, now making up the state of Mississippi and some claims of Georgia. It was to 4 land companies for a total of $500,000. In 1810, Chief Justice John Marshall ruled in the Fletcher versus Peck case that the impairment was unconstitutional infringement in a legal contract. When Fletcher bought land from Peck, Peck promised Fletcher that the land was not constitutionally impaired by the 1796 rescinding. Case focused on Peck arguing to the U.S. Supreme Court that the 1796 Act was unconstitutional, so that no breach of his promise to Fletcher had occurred. Fletcher was angry at Peck because the land was never really Peck's to sell to him in the first place. After the land was sold, Georgia government created a law that repealed the act. Peck had bought land from Georgia government before the act to sell land to people. After the land was sold, Georgia government made a law. Even though Fletcher didn't agree with how he got the land, he still has the land, and Peck did not get sued. So in the end, both of them won. And even though the government repealed the act, the grant was already made. Therefore, it cannot be repealed. The Supreme Court ruled that a grant to a private land company was a contract within the contract of the clause of the Constitution, and once made cannot be repealed.